Welcome to the World Class Speaking podcast series. This is a place where you will learn how to present, persuade, and profit by improving your communication skills. Each episode in the series is a chapter from the book World Class Speaking in Action. And each chapter is written by a certified world class speaking coach. I'm your host, Matt Miller, and I've carefully crafted and summarized each chapter in the book. Have you ever been curious on how the brain works? Or more specifically, on how the three-part brain works? Or have you ever had interest in how to connect with and move people? Or have you ever been curious on the evolutionary power of storytelling? All from a human neurobiology perspective. If you answered yes to any of these questions, then this episode is for you. This one's going to be a little bit more sciencey, but it's really good to understand how the brain works and how it can help us tell stories and make decisions. This is episode 21, Human Neurobiology, The Science of Speaking Success, and it's by John K. Bates. And John K. Bates is a certified world-class speaking coach, as well as an international keynote and motivational speaker, executive coach, and trainer. Why is this episode so important? Because once you know how our brain is wired, you'll be set up for world-class speaking success like never before. In this episode, we will explore how the brain works as it pertains to your speaking success. Now, it's important to know how decision-making works in the brain. The emotional brain makes the decision, while the logical, cerebral cortex either agrees or disagrees, but it doesn't make the decision. The emotional brain makes a decision. If something makes sense logically, we typically won't come to grips with it because our gut instinct isn't telling us that it's true or correct. We must make the emotional part of our brain agree, and then we can make the decision. And here's a key insight. Before presenting the data, the facts, the statistics to your audience, the first thing you want to do is connect with them emotionally by either telling a story or doing some other thing that gets them to feel like they know you, like you, and trust you. And then once you connect with them emotionally, then you can speak logically to them. There's a quote, and it's be believed before you dump all the facts, figures, and features on your audience, and you will succeed. And that quote's by Bert Decker, author of You Got to Be Believed to Be Heard. Connect emotionally with your audience from the beginning, and you will set yourself up for success. And here's a quote from the book as well. Don't restate your story, relive it, and invite your audience in to your reliving room. Now, here's a suggestion. Use stories to illustrate your points and make sure they activate the whole brain. And by activating the whole brain, you need to use descriptor words. Colors, smells, dialogue, simile, metaphors. Use words that paint the picture in the audience's brain. And here's an exercise that you can do. You can go through the stories in your upcoming speech and build at least 2 additional senses in every story that you tell. And make sure to include dialogue where possible. Now, research suggests that nonverbal communication, that means not what we're saying, but what we're doing, at least 2/3 of all communication. That means our body gestures need to be congruent with the words that we say. And there's 3 common mistakes people make when it comes to body gestures. And the first one is the speed of delivery. People are talking way too fast. The second is movement on stage, and people are either stuck in the same spot or they're rapidly moving side to side. And the third one is a lack of eye contact. You want to make sure that you lock eye contact with your audience. You can go from one person, lock eye contact for enough to finish a complete thought, and then move to the other side of the room, lock eye contact with somebody else, finish a complete thought. And then something that was recommended in the book is that you can actually do the triangle method. You could start with eye contact with somebody in the front right, and then you can move to the back middle, and then you can move to make eye contact with somebody in the front left in that triangle motion. Then after you finish that triangle, then you can invert the triangle, and you can start with somebody in the front center, and then move to the back right, and then move to the back left. That's just a way to systematize making eye contact if it's something that you struggle with. Another thing mentioned in the book is the importance of applying vocal variety. A suggestion would be to use vocal variety. That means speaking louder at certain times, then speaking softer at other times, speeding up and also slowing down. But overall, slow down. That's the key insight from the chapter of the book, is that most speakers speak way too fast. When presenting at work, we're speaking way too fast. We're going through the slides way too quickly. Overall, slow down. And an exercise that you can do is you can record yourself giving a talk on the faster side, and then you can record yourself giving that same talk, but talking more slowly, and you'll be amazed by what an expert you sound like when you slow down. Another key tip is moving with purpose. Watch out for rapidly pacing side to side or switching weight from one foot to the other, feeling imbalanced. And also, when you're doing hand motions, something that you don't want to do is the same repetitive double hand motions at the same time, the repetitive and symmetrical hand motions that I'm doing right now. You want to mix it up by using your one hand and then also your other, making different gestures. You can use your hands to show size if something's longer or shorter. If it's a cold day, you can shiver. If you're shooting a basketball, you can do those hand motions, but you want to be intentional with the hand motions that you choose. Now, here's an example from start to finish on how you can connect emotionally with your audience first and then logically. The very first thing when you're giving a speech or presentation is you want to know who your audience is. Are they kids, adults, male, females, all those demographics? And then you want to look into their psychographics. What do they believe in? What are their goals and ambitions? And then once you know this, you want to do your absolute best to connect with them. So you be likable, share a personal story, make a great point. And then after you've built up that rapport with the audience, then you can transition into the facts, data, statistics to drive home a point. But the key here is that you want to connect emotionally with them first and then logically. To summarize some key takeaways from this chapter in the book, World Class Speaking in Action, is number one, include the emotional part of the brain so people care about your facts, figures, and statistics, and they remember what you say. And as a result, they'll be more likely to take action. And number two is use descriptors in your storytelling to activate the entire brain. What do they smell, feel, see, hear, touch? Then number three is master your nonverbal communication, because this is 2/3 of what the audience is going to remember. Overall, slow down, have purposeful movement, and use powerful eye contact. Now that you know the importance of activating the entire brain while presenting, I encourage you to go back into one of your stories and add 2 sensory details to help paint the picture for your audience. And in the next episode, you will learn world-class body language as it pertains to presentations. That's all we've got for this episode on the World Class Speaking podcast series. Until next time, remember that becoming a great communicator is so important because it leads to greater impact, influence, and income. Thank you for listening and have a great day.